Welcome everybody. It's going to be the new year here in 2014, and I wanted to talk to you about the new SEO and beyond. My name is Anthony Flores, and I'm the CTO and president of Attorney Marketing Network and High Converting Media. And in this presentation, I want to go over a lot of the changes that are happening here with Google and with search in general, and kind of how to position yourself to stay ahead of it and to win in 2014. So let's go ahead and get started here. So our primary focus as a company here, I want to give you some background, is I've been personally in the SEO industry since 2000. And our focus here, and I've seen a ton of stuff change over the last 13 years. Our focus is primarily on web design, development, SEO, and SEM for small to medium-sized businesses. We've generated thousands of page one results and leads for our clients over the last 5 years that we've been in business. And we're continuing to do that. And I wanted to kind of go over, here's the overview here of what we're going to discuss in the next few slides. First one is on semantic search and the new Google algorithm update, which is Hummingbird. We'll go into detail on that here shortly. And strategic SEO versus technical SEO. Huge difference, and we're approaching it much different than we did in the past, where in the past what we would do is target specific keywords. Now we want to do it strategically, and I'll go into detail on how you can do that. New SEO versus old, so we'll compare what used to work versus what we believe is going to work here in the future, and what we're starting to see actually take effect today. And also talk about the importance of mobile. And in my opinion, mobile's where it's at, and everything you build moving forward should be with mobile in mind first. And then we're going to discuss and kind of touch on the Google algorithm updates. We're not going to go into too much detail because that's literally hours and hours of a conversation that we can have at another time, or with another slide. But it's changing, guys. So I want to kind of make you familiar with that if you're not already. And then the importance of social, local SEO, search engine marketing, which falls into the category of pay-per-click and retargeting or remarketing, banner ads, etc. And then just changing your philosophy on online marketing. We had a very difficult time too, because this industry is literally changing on a dime, and you've got to, if you're gonna stay and dominate, you've got to stay ahead of these trends, and figure out, kind of stay ahead of where Google's at, and figure out where is Google going and kind of follow them. One way you can do that is actually you can look at some of the patents that they have pending, and also some of the companies that they're acquiring. You can see kind of where they want to go, and they use those pieces to improve the algorithm. So we'll kind of get more into that later, but the first slide is this. What is semantic search? So semantic search equals an answer engine. So in the past, what we would do is we would type in a question, an actual keyword term, and get a result. That still works today, obviously, and there's obviously still traffic there. But what Google's doing is that they built this new algorithm which is surrounded around semantic search, which is Hummingbird, right? So what's happening with mobile is that people are actually typing in a question and looking for an answer, right? That's where it's changing. And this is where you want to focus when you're building out pages. You definitely want to focus on answering somebody's specific question. In the past, Google was not smart enough to answer a question and get it right. In fact, what they would do is their answer to your question would be to send you to another search engine, like for example ask.com, right? So what's also happened is Google's actually recognizing the whole context of a searcher's intent. So each one of these words, they're getting better at understanding and the meaning behind each one of these words. So you want to kind of keep that in mind, is that mobile, guys, is first. So In this example, the query search is what is the best season to visit in Rome? And then, there's your answer. The goal is to position yourself to answer questions that searchers are having problems with. This is referred to as semantic search or conversational search. This is where it's going, guys. This is the future, and it's starting to happen now. So start to keep that in mind when you're writing your content, that you're answering questions. So now let's talk about the old SEO versus the new. So we're going from transferring from technical SEO to strategic SEO. Understand what your business does and what you can offer your customers. So what we're doing is we're getting with our clients and asking them specifically, what do they do and what are they looking for, and what type of clients or what type of cases do they need, or what type of product do they want to sell, what differentiates them from someone else, and we're focusing there. So we're getting more of a detailed custom analysis opposed to picking a bunch of keywords and saying here's what's getting traffic, here's what we think you should focus on. No longer are we doing that. In fact, I think that's a losing strategy here in 2014. So keep that in mind. Think about what niches do you want to go after, and then build your pages around those niches. So be very strategic and be the authority on specific cases, niches, products, etc. And then the use of mobile search queries opposed to desktop. Images of Grand Canyon. What is the weather in Brooklyn? Who's the best lawyer in Sacramento? This is what we're talking about again. This is how people are searching, and this is how you want to detail your content out. Google's better to understand your full query. The search queries evolve with mobile, which is voice search. Siri and Google Voice Search, so is Google Search. So this is the way that people search on a mobile phone through Siri as they're asking questions and they get answers. So create content that offers solutions to problems again. So here's a query versus a keyword search, right? Who is at fault if I'm rear-ended? And then here's the alternative example would be, car accident lawyer in New York. When somebody's using Siri, chances are they're not using car accident lawyer in New York to find somebody. They're asking, what happens if I was hurt in an accident? Who's the best lawyer in New York? Next slide here is the rules of the new SEO. Think mobile, guys. Mobile apps and responsive websites. Responsive website is a site that'll actually change in size and dimension based on tablet, desktop, and mobile phone, and all in one website. This is the way to do it. The alternative is to have a mobile website built out, but I would highly recommend, if you're not building your site so that it's responsive, you're going to lose in 2014. So think about that. Next thing, think about the query and answer questions. So long tail search queries via voice search. Think about what people would be asking through voice search or voice recognition, and write your content according to that. Here's the next one. Guys, this is so important. This is huge for us at our company here too, is how we're positioning and writing content. We're staying away from writing content, switching from keyword level SEO to page level SEO. So what does that mean? So instead of saying, okay, well, in this case, I want to sell, so it's pizza Los Angeles, right? Instead of focusing on that keyword and trying to write content so you can rank for that keyword and game the system, you got to be careful with that today. So now what you do is you make a page and you talk about different types of pizza. You talk about, pepperoni, mushroom, etc. The ingredients. So that page, the theme is about pizza. Instead of trying to write keywords specifically chasing down, the keyword pizza store Los Angeles, or where to order pizza in Los Angeles. So you want to be strategic at a page level versus keyword level. That's absolutely huge. If you can take anything away here, it would be that, and that would help Google also recognize what it is that you're trying to be found for. They're getting so much better at recognizing synonyms. You don't have to have your keyword planted into your content over and over. In fact, you can get hurt for that, so be very, very careful. Next bullet point here is to specific problems by providing high quality content. So you want to answer specific problems, and the answer is through writing good high quality content that answers questions again versus putting information out there to try and game the system. And you want to think visual too. So remember guys, when I say content, I'm not talking about text. That is one form of content. Other form is the way that you're designing the graphics on your website, images, unique images. That's absolutely huge. Video is another form of content. So keep that in mind. It's not only text that's going to help you. The more content you have and the more unique it is, the better you're going to do here in 2014. Structured data, which is schema. So you've seen cases where you do a search and you'll see maybe 5 stars, like when you look at Yelp, right? What that is that's basically helping to enrich or enhance the search results, and it also helps with people clicking through to your content when you're using schema. And schema is a language that was actually designed to talk to the search engines and also help the search engines better understand your content. So keep that in mind when you're having your site coded, that you use schema wherever you can. Next thing is to think social. Social has been talked about for years. In fact, there was always talk about social replacing search, and I don't know if that's ever going to happen, because I think as long as search is around and people are looking to solve problems, there's always going to be a search engine. Social's great as far as what did your friends recommend, but there's times where you need to do research and you need to refer to the search engines to find answers. Search will always be around. Social is huge though. Social is becoming a big signal as far as SEO is concerned. So you definitely don't want to forget about that, and you should have a solid strategy for that. And also with social, it just helps you become the authority. It gets your name out there. And then what people are doing today, especially the millennials, they're doing a search for something and then they're going to see if you're active socially. And if you're not, it looks like you're out of business. So you want to make sure that you're active, keeping your Facebook and your Google Plus up to date. That's huge today. So you want to expand and think outside of just your website and start to think more social as well. Understanding algorithm changes. Now, we can go on for hours on how to fix, issues that you have if you've been penalized by Google. But what I want to talk about is Hummingbird. This is huge. This is the first major change to the algorithm since caffeine in 2001. And again, this has to do with semantic search. This is what we're talking about here, is the impact of semantic search and how it's changing the way that people are viewing and looking at Google. Penguin was actually a filter to the old algorithm. So Penguin today is actually integrated into the algorithm. So it's no longer an additional filter. It's actually part of the algorithm. Same with Panda. Panda focuses more on stuff that happens on your website, like page speed, user interface, if there's duplicative content, if there's old code, stuff like that, the overall user experience. So that's where Panda comes into play. Penguin is more about backlinks and over-optimizing backlinks. Again, we can go into more detail at another time, and there's a ton of stuff that you can look online to look into detail as to these algorithm updates and some of these filters. But yeah, it's definitely an issue, and there's ways to fix some of these some of these penalties, and we can do that again at another time, or just refer to Google and you can find a lot of information on that. So semantic search, the landscape. If you guys have noticed, the knowledge graph here is changing. So the way that Google is showing their results is completely changing, and you'll see it more and more. If you look at this search down here, restaurants in Los Angeles, you'll see there's a carousel now, right? So what they're trying to do is enhance the first page. So it's no longer, 10 results with some pay-per-click ads above it. It's a lot more informative and it's a better user experience. So again, you can see here with Barack Obama, with these authority figures, it's pulling information from their Google Plus. And this hasn't been completely accurate yet. Google's still kind of playing with it, but you can kind of see where the search engines are going. And this here, look, what is a cash advance? There's a definition right here. So this is where it's going, guys. It's definitely changing here, and it's going to change even more here in 2014. So keep in mind that some of the current SEO principles still do work. However, they're becoming deprecated and being replaced with other signals. So what's happening, so for example, people still are typing in pizza Los Angeles or injury lawyer Los Angeles. That is still happening, but it's slowly being replaced by voice search, and the good old days of search are definitely changing. So keyword data is disappearing. Google is no longer allowing us to see which keywords people type in to find us. So they're trying to hide that information, because what's happening is that people that do search engine optimization, or they're doing web campaigns or some type of search campaign, they're doing keyword research to find out which keywords get the most search, and then they're building pages to kind of game the system. So keyword data no longer around. You can no longer get that. That was an update that was done here recently, and it really hurt the community because it's hard. You're kind of operating in the dark now. PageRank. PageRank was actually just updated a few weeks ago here, and it's been over 6 months since they've updated PageRank. So you can see that Google's priority is not to promote PageRank, because again, people will try and game PageRank and use that to their advantage. You also see that huge authority sites are starting to take over a lot of the search queries. Like if you do any searches for restaurants, Yelp is there all day long. In fact, I've seen examples where Yelp is the first 5 results, right? So a lot of these big authority sites are starting to take over some of the top spots. If you do a product search for just about anything, you'll see Amazon there. They're like #1 for almost everything. So there's still ways to beat some of these big sites out, but it's all about authority. Authority sites are taking over, so we've got to build our sites to become authority websites. Algorithmic changes, Penguin Panda. Here, these are other things that are happening now that were designed to hurt some of the smaller guys. And you've got to, even as a small website, a local website, you've got to build that site into a good authority website, and just be a little bit more craftier than some of these bigger websites with your content and how it's laid out, etc. So what does this all mean? We've got to change the way that we view web and the search. We've got to change our philosophy, right? That's the first thing. No longer do you want to hire companies and ask them, well, I want to be on page 1 of Google tomorrow for these specific keywords. Because what's happening is that if you start to look at SEO that way, you're going to get hit on the way up there if you don't do it right. So you've got to be extremely careful. No longer do you want to ask somebody how many backlinks you're building. Backlinks are extremely important, but they're slowly becoming deprecated again with just other signals like social, better content, landing page speed, etc. So here's some of the questions that we get asked all the time. So, why is my competitor still there and I'm not, right? There's a lot of reasons for that. First one would be your link profile. If you have an older website with an older link profile, at one point Google was okay with those backlinks. Today they're not. So you'll see a lot of websites that are newer that are starting to rank at the top of page 1. It's because they just have a cleaner link profile and they've kind of started from scratch. And sometimes what happens also is that if you have an authority website that's been around for years and it's been ranking for years, chances are it's going to stick too, because Google sees this as an authority, and you almost become immune to these updates, right? So I don't care about this stuff. I just want my phone to ring. You hear this too. We hear it all the time. That's a very good point, and there's other ways than SEO. SEO is just one piece of the holistic way of marketing. So we want to start to think about expanding on online marketing, including pay-per-click, Facebook ads, retargeting, mobile apps, mobile websites, etc. So how do I take advantage of these changes? SEO has become only one element of successful marketing. We must make changes to our business model online to survive in the future. And then here's a cool little slide. Every cloud has a silver lining. And I really like this quote here by Daniel Peralta. It says that let the colors of your life change. So allow things to change and stop sticking to the old way of doing things. I take that personally because, when you're doing something that works for so long and overnight, it completely changes and is pulled out from under you. It's hard to want to change. So you've got to, especially in this industry, and if you're depending on Google to drive business, you've got to stay up to date with these changes. So now, building your own asset without being dependent on one single source of traffic. In 2014, I think this is going to be huge. Don't depend on Google only to drive traffic. Bing is starting to come up here, where Bing is starting to get a decent percentage of search. Yahoo still hanging around, and then social. You can get traffic from social. Also pay-per-click on Bing, Yahoo, and a mobile app. Mobile app can be huge for your business. So how do you do it? Faster server. Make sure that your site is faster, right? You want to make sure that it loads quick and that it's moving fast. Videos. You can do Hangouts with other people, with colleagues. So Google Hangout is huge. If you can get your videos to rank also, then you're not only depending organically on your results, you're doing other things to diversify. You want to have a responsive website, like I mentioned earlier. Mobile app. Google is now indexing the content on mobile apps. So for example, you have an iPhone or you have an Android and you're building a mobile app, there's signs that Google's actually spidering the content. And I'm noticing also from iTunes, mobile apps are starting to show up more and more in the search results. So if you don't have a mobile app, you should definitely consider it, because there's a huge market that you're missing out on. And a lot of these, the younger millennials and the younger generation, they're accessing stuff through mobile. So you've got to make sure that you have a clear-cut strategy for mobile. Again, remarketing are ads that follow you around, and it allows you to stay in front of someone that visited your website, and eventually you could close them, or it just puts your brand in front of them. And I think it's a great way to go in 2014. Yelp. Social proof and transparency. A lot of people getting good results from Yelp. So diversify, look at Yelp. I'm also seeing yellow pages start to show up. In fact, there's buses driving around all over the place with banners to point people to the Yellow Pages app. So definitely a good place to diversify. Search engine marketing, Bing AdWords, Yahoo. PDFs, you take content, put them into PDFs as well, and you can send them off to like DocStock, and there's various other places to get traffic from. Do a podcast, iTunes. You can set it up. It's not that hard. Make sure you've got a decent mic and good content, and you can start to upload stuff to iTunes. Boom, you're driving more traffic from iTunes as well, and on top of that, you're becoming the authority, which is huge. Next thing, custom content. So planning out your content, have an FAQ section. This is strategic planning, strategic SEO, is plan out that content and answer questions like no one else can. Have unique photos. Instead of going to these different iStock photos, etc., go outside or maybe hire a photographer in your area and take unique photos. That actually helps with search engine results, and it'll put you ahead of the competition. Testimonials. So testimonials are huge in 2014. So get your clients. I know it's hard, but if you can get them to leave testimonials for you, that's just going to help with social proof, and it's going to help your rankings altogether. So, look out for that in 2014. I would highly recommend that if you can help in any way, you want to get testimonials and start to, point people to your Yelp page and get testimonials there. That's pretty much it, guys. That is my 2 cents on what online marketing looks like for 2014. And I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Again, my name's Anthony Flores, and feel free to hit me up via email, or what you can do is just respond down below the video and comment on it and tell me what you think. I appreciate your time, and good luck on 2014.